I'm sure we should go to the mayor.
I don't know. I really don't know. Supposing we were wrong.
Supposing we were right and didn't tell him.
The innkeeper did say the young man was a civil servant and travelling from Petersburg.
He looked so important.
He takes everything on credit, doesn't pay a kopeck.
He must be important.
But he had no official uniform.
Didn't the letter to the mayor say he would be travelling incognito?
The way he observes everything.
The stains on the cutlery.
The innkeeper's wife.
Even saw we were eating salmon.
We must tell the mayor.
Yes, we must tell the mayor.
Driver, turn around.
The mayor's house.
And hurry.
Yes.
So he sent for you, too? Oh, I don't like the look of it. I wonder what it can be.
I can't imagine unless he wants to win the rest of our money. How much did he win from you?
100 rubles. My head's still swimming. That wine of his. I couldn't tell clubs from spades. I could only see little red and black blobs. Ought to be a crime to sell wine like that.
But he doesn't buy it. Whenever his cellar runs low, he goes and ransacks Ambulance shop. Any bottle with labels he likes, he has it sent here.
How much did you lose?
85 rubles. How much did he win from you?
100. Well, our mayor's the devil's own luck in most things, if you weigh it up. He must have put away a fine sum during the last 10 years. Ah, Amos Fyodorovich. Good morning.
Good morning, Luka Lukich. Good morning, Artemy Filipovich. So the mayor has sent for you, too. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I was beginning to think my sins were finding me out. Oh, my head. It's rocking like a drum. It's bursting, and I have 3 cases to hear in the court this morning.
It must be here somewhere.
It's not here, I tell you.
It must be. I had 2 boots when I came in.
Now, don't shout at me, Anton Antonovich.
I was awake all night. Had a nightmare. 2 huge rats. 2 enormous black ones. Upon my soul, I never saw such brutes, not even in the bakery. They came and sniffed and went away again.
Oh, here it is.
A premonition. It must have been a government inspector. Why should a government inspector want to come sniffing round me?
Oh, Anton, do you suppose he'd be handsome?
Handsome? Why should he be handsome? Any man who goes sniffing round like that must have a nose the length of my arm. Hurry up, will you? Here, let me do it. They're all waiting in there.
Oh, Anton, we will see him, won't we? I mean, you will fetch him back. I'd never forgive you if you didn't. Oh, then what am I thinking of? I haven't told Maya yet. She'll be so excited. Maya! Maya!
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I have kept you waiting long? Long enough, it seems. Be seated, gentlemen. Gentlemen, I have some unpleasant news for you. A short while ago, I received some rather alarming information. I think I'd better read it to you. Dear friend, godfather, and benefactor, I hasten to warn you that an official is coming to inspect the whole province, our district in particular. I know you're like the rest of us and have your little failings, so being a sensible fellow, you don't like to lose what swims into your hands. Oh, well, we're all friends here. I warn you to take precautions, as he may arrive at any moment.
At any moment?
If he hasn't already arrived and is living somewhere incognito.
A government inspector. Extraordinary. Simply extraordinary.
Why send an inspector to us, our town so far away? Why should they bother?
Just fate, that's all. So far, God's been good to us. I've pried into other towns. Now, it's our turn.
Yeah. I believe there is some deep, far-reaching political reason for it. Russia has gone to war, and the minister is sending this man to see if there's treason anywhere.
Treason in a country town like this? You could gallop from here for 3 years and not come to a foreign country.
Petersburg may be far off, but the authorities don't miss much. They see everything.
They certainly intend having a closer look. This inspector may be snooping around here at this very moment, walking through the wards of one of your hospitals, Artemy Filipovich. You'd better get some clean blankets and linen and give your patients a wash. Otherwise, I think they're all chimney sweeps.
Well, I think I may be able to find some clean nightcaps.
There should be some way of distinguishing between them. Put their names over their beds and underneath what they're suffering from.
But we don't know what the majority is suffering from. It's very difficult for Dr. Heibner to diagnose their complaints.
I thought you told me that Heibner was a brilliant German doctor.
Well, so he is. But he doesn't speak a word of Russian. It sometimes takes a patient 2 or 3 days just to tell him where the pain is.
Put the diseases down in Latin. That should stop awkward questions.
The great trouble is we have far too many patients.
Then get rid of some of them and think the doctor doesn't know his business. On top of that, he'll start inspecting the drains. You know, to stick that in. Fyodorowicz, you must do something about your courtroom. The porter keeps geese in the anteroom. Get rid of them before they get us into serious trouble. Only yesterday, one of the witnesses was so badly picked he forgot what he'd been told to say.
Oh, well, that's an easy matter. I'll have them killed at once. Would you care to come to dinner tonight?
Then he's a clerk. He may know a great deal, but he gives off a powerful odor of vodka. It's his natural smell, as he says it is. There must be some remedy. Tell him to try eating onions, or perhaps the doctor will give him something or other.
No, it's no use. He told me that when he was a child, his nurse bruised him, and he's given off a slight smell of vodka ever since.
Well, I just thought I'd mention it. As regards your conduct in court and what Shmiyov in his letter calls little failings, well, what is it to say? No man is without sin.
Well, there are sins and sins. I do admit freely that I take bribes, but what sort of bribes? Borzoi puppies, that's all.
It's bribery, nevertheless.
I still don't think it's as bad as the man who takes a fur coat for his wife, or a cask of wine.
All right, I just thought I'd mention it. As a matter of fact, I don't think he'll come near the district courthouse. It's in such a state it must be under divine protection. Look, Lukic, as school superintendent, it's your business to see that the school teachers behave like normal human beings. Their behavior's most peculiar. Perhaps as learned men are supposed to be peculiar, I really wouldn't know. But there's one in particular who's always pulling faces.
The geography master. It's a nervous affliction. I did speak to him about it once. It was the day the prince inspected us. That man pulled such a fearful face. I've never seen anything like it. I got a telling off for letting the boys be taught wild, godless ideas.
And then there's history master. He may know his subject well enough, but why get so carried away by it? The other week I passed a school. I thought it was on fire. The noise was indescribable. He jumped down from his desk, picked up a chair, brandished it over his head, banged it on the floor. I think he was describing a battle. Alexander the Great was a great general and all that, but why get so carried away by it? Why break the chairs? They're government property.
I did speak to him about it once, but he's such an idealist. He says he'd lay down his life in the cause of learning.
These learned men are never quite sane. They either drink or go mad and make faces that would shock the saints.
I know. They put me in a sweat whenever they open their mouths. They use words I've never heard of, just showing off.
It wouldn't be so bad if it weren't for this accursed incognito. He may descend on any one of us, any hour of the day. Ah! So, you're the health commissioner, are you? So, you're responsible for justice in this town. So, you're the school superintendent. What's 42 times 24? Where's Nizhny Novgorod? You see, it's the strain. That's the awful thing. He may come through that door at any moment. It's just a strain. I'm not used to it. Oh,
Tell me,
Jill.
all this about a government inspector, is it true? I heard from Bolshinsky. He called in at my post office. Do you know what I think?
Well, what do you think?
War with the Turks.
Just what I said, my very words.
War with the Turks. You're for war with us, more likely. We're the ones who'll catch it, not the Turks.
And how do you feel about it, Anton Antonovich?
Oh, I'm not frightened. Why should I be? A little uneasy, like the tradespeople. Though, as God's my judge. If I have taken from one or two of them, I did it with no ill feeling. Ivan Kuzmich, I was wondering... Well, what are you waiting for?
Yes, I ought to be going. I've got a lot to do.
Serve I. Clean nightcaps for the patients. Good day, Anton Antonovich.
I'm not worried, really. My courtroom smells so that no one would come in yards of it.
All the same. I should burn all those papers.
Oh, yes. Perhaps you're right. You mean the court records, though Solomon himself couldn't tell what was lies or truth from them. Good day to you, Anton Antonovich.
You know, I think there may have been some secret denunciation of me by the tradespeople. Why else should they send a government inspector here? Ivan Kuzmich, for our mutual benefit, you might take every letter that passes through your post office and unseal a little bit and read it through.
I don't see why not. After all, I've been doing it for years. And not just as a precaution. A lot of it makes interesting reading.
Have you found anything concerning me and my dealings with the tradespeople?
No, I can't say I have.
Well, if you do, don't forget. Keep it back.
With the greatest of pleasure, Anton Antonovich. Good day to you now.
Good day. Keep your eyes skinned.
I will.
You never know where they'll turn up. Anywhere. Anytime.
No, it's not him. It's Bobchinsky and Dobchinsky.
Oh, Mum, isn't it thrilling? Do you think he'll have a moustache?
Oh, I hope not. I loathe men with moustaches.
Mum, drop my necklace. My hands are trembling so I can't find the clasp.
Calm yourself, my child. Calm yourself.
To think he might arrive at any moment.
Keep still. How do you expect me to do it if you don't keep still?
Wonder what colour eyes he has.
There. I wonder why they've come back.
Who? Dobchinsky and Bobchinsky?
Yes, they already know about the government inspector. They were here when the letter arrived. They seem to be in a dreadful hurry.
Perhaps. You don't suppose?
But they've seen him.
Yes.
Oh.
It was like this. We were going into the inn, you see. Yes, I was going into the inn with Pyotr Ivanovich. Let me tell him, Pyotr Ivanovich. No, let me tell him. You haven't the style. But you'll get confused and won't remember it all. No, don't interfere and let me tell him. But you'll get all confused. I know you will. Don't interfere. Don't keep on interfering.
Just a minute. You'll drive me mad. Here, sit down.
Thank you. You sit, Pyotr Ivanovich. No, please, you sit. No, I insist. You sit. I'll stand.
Oh, for heaven's sake, both of you stand. Now, what are you trying to tell me?
Well, allow me. I'll begin at the beginning. Soon after you told us about that letter, we went into the post office to communicate the news to Ivan Kuzmich. Then we thought we'd like a little snack, so we went on to the inn. We hadn't had anything to eat since breakfast. My stomach was rumbling, sir. They've got some nice fresh salmon. And we're very fond of salmon. Well, we were sitting there eating the salmon when a young man came in. Of elegant appearance, but not in official uniform. Of elegant appearance, but not in official uniform. His face had a kind of thoughtfulness, a physiognomy, and a great deal, oh yes, a great deal, up here. I said to Pyotr Ivanovich, there is more here than meets the eye. No, it was I who said there is more here than meets the eye. Pyotr Ivanovich, will you let me tell it? You have a lisp and a tooth in your head that whistles. So I called over the innkeeper and inquired after this young man, and he told us all about him. And then it dawned on me. No, it dawned on me first.
For heaven's sake, what dawned on you?
If you will remember, Pyotr Ivanovich, I turned to you and I said, aha. No, I turned to you and said, ha-ha.
Never mind who said ha-ha. What did the innkeeper say?
He said the young man was a civil servant, an official travelling from Petersburg to his family in the province of Saratov. Aha, I said. We both said. Very well, we both said. Aha. Why is he staying here if his destination is Saratov? And an official at that?
Who? What official?
Why, the one you had the letter about. The government inspector.
What? God help us, that's not him. It can't be.
He must be. He doesn't go away. He pays no money. Who else could it be? He has an official order for post horses to Saratov. And he's so observant. His eyes are everywhere. Looked right through us. Gave us quite a turn. Even saw we were eating salmon. When we left, we looked through the windows, and there he was, inspecting our plates.
You're staying at this inn?
Oh, yes, he's been there over 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Mother of God! And all that time the convicts haven't been fed. The streets haven't been swept. The sergeant's wife's been flogged. The town's like a pothouse. What's the number of his room?
Number 4. Where the officers had the fight last year.
I must go there at once.
Oh, we'll come with you.
Devil you will. I'll go there alone. It won't look so suspicious. I'll be just passing by. I've had some bad moments in the past. I've always got through by the skin of my teeth. Lord knows how. Perhaps God'll be good to me even yet. He's a young man, you say?
Oh, 27 or 28 at the most.
Good. The young ones are easy to handle. There'll be much more trouble with an old hand. Mister! Run next door, tell the police superintendent to come here at once.
Yes, sir. Would it be all right if we wait outside the inn?
I've already told you that I'm going alone.
Not coming, just to wait and see what happens.
What do you expect to see? My execution?
Oh, well, we'd better be going. Good day, Anton Antonovich. Good day, Anton Antonovich.
He's here, then he's here.
Oh, I must find another dress. I'm sure this one's much too drab for a government inspector.
Anton, isn't it thrilling?
Give me my sword. It must be in the kitchen somewhere.
Oh, yes, they lost the carving knife and been using it for the meat. Oh, and your new hat. You must wear your new hat.
French brandy. Enter. Stepan Ilyich.
Sorry, I must have dropped off. Can't understand it.
That official has arrived from Petersburg.
Yes? When?
2 weeks ago.
God help us.
I thought that away.